Forte Catholic Radio. This is your host, Taylor Stroll. It has finally stopped raining in Central Texas. It is a beautiful day as I look out the window here in the Red Sea Radio. Beautiful seaside studios. We're not seaside, we're in Central Texas. That's not how the sea works, but it's beautiful nonetheless. So, we were supposed to do something really, really cool today. Our good friends, producer Sam, who has been gone for 2 weeks. She just left me, you know. People have been missing her. This was supposed to be her grand return. And I had a special surprise for you. Everybody's either favorite or second favorite priest in Forte Catholic history. I'll leave that up to you. Father Jared Cooke, who was also in the Holy Land leading the trip that our producer Sam was on. He was supposed to come and be our surprise guest co-host for the day. It was going to be great. And then, kids, they both texted me, one yesterday and one today, that they are both sick. So here's my tip, friends. If you go to the Holy Land, you're going to get sick. I think it has a lot to do, more to do with the time zone shift than being in the Holy Land. But there you have it. They had a great time. That's what I've heard. But none of us are going to hear any more than that until they both decide that they are healthy. So I have in the studio replacement producer for the day. And a returner to the show, Mr. AJ Barrows in the studio. AJ Barrows, how are you?
I'm doing well, Taylor. How have you been?
I have just been doing mint. Thank you very much. I feel like we only call producer Sam. Like I never call her by her last name. I kind of feel like I'm just going to call you AJ Barrows the whole time. Like I'm just going to talk.
Fair.
Wait. Didn't you say you didn't want your last name on the radio?
It's a little late now.
Well, dang it.
That lasted like 30 seconds.
If only Father Jared was here so that he could hear my confession. But alas, he is ill. I'm sorry, AJ. But I have something special for you, AJ.
Yeah, what is that?
We have a special Forte Catholic celebration week going on today.
Do we?
Yeah, you, me, a few people are celebrating something special.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Is it my birthday?
Is it your birthday?
It's my birthday? Is it your birthday?
Yeah, this last week.
Is it producer Sam's birthday?
Yeah.
Is it my wife's birthday?
Yes. Same day as mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Same day as yours. So I'm sorry I didn't celebrate you as much as you anticipated. I celebrated with my wife.
That was probably the right call.
I believe so. This ring on my finger means nothing to you. It means something to her. So.
No problem. Yeah.
So we celebrated my wife's birthday on the 18th. And we have a very small baby. I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
Yes, I am aware you have children.
Yes, 3 of them to be exact. One of them is very, very tiny and annoying. So she kept me up all night last night. I'm very tired.
Ooh.
But it's also annoying when you have small children that you can't go out and for more than an hour and a half at a time because small baby needs mom. So here's what we had to do. And I wanted to take, what most couples do. Husband takes wife out on an extravagant dinner, then you go to some nice place, and then you go see a movie. I mean, there's just plenty of things that you can do.
Yeah.
I had to take my children on our date. All 3
Goals.
of them. Yeah, so we went out for dinner. The kids, most of my wife's celebration, not our wife, that's weird.
Yep.
Either meaning our as in you and me, or our as in me and my children. Either way, it was odd. So my wife, the wife that I own.
Don't own her. That's slavery. That's no.
Well, I thought that's what the... Well, never mind. I was going to say something. You made it weird by mentioning slavery.
Well, that's true, though. You can't own people.
I own this water bottle. It doesn't mean it's my slave.
It's not a person.
I guess you're right. Okay, so people are going to love this, by the way. One of the things that they love about producer Sam is that she pushes back at me and you're already throwing me off and we've only been on the air for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So we go out. Most of our celebration involves, telling our children to sit back down in their chairs. Like my 5-year-old actually fell out of his chair. Like I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you fall out of a chair. Like he wasn't even drinking the margaritas. We were, So we had some margaritas. We went and enjoyed a nice dinner, and then we had set up a babysitter to watch the 3 small children that we own. And I'm just going to try to slide it in again.
Yeah, just like your children, I can mildly argue that you own them. Yeah, that I can.
They belong to me. We dropped them off at the babysitter, and we went to. I always want to call it like Grand Central Station. I think it's just called Grand Station.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
Here in town.
Yeah.
So. Most people that listen to the show know that I work in youth ministry, so I've been to Grand Station on multiple occasions, right?
Yes.
But I've always been with, again, young children, older than mine, but junior high kids, high school kids on the occasion. But so I've seen bowling. I had seen like laser tag, because essentially, like, I'm a good youth minister. I mean, most days.
Most days.
Hanging
most
out,
days.
at least at Grand Station. I'm a good youth minister. They like me when we're there. So we're, hanging out. I'm playing with them. I'm like, giving my arm to Jesus by playing bowling. Playing bowling? Bowling?
I think it's just called bowling.
What is the verb for bowling?
Bowling.
Bowled?
Because you say, like, I bowled 200.
I'm bald. So, like, my right shoulder doesn't work correctly. So every time I bowl, I, like, can't lift my arm for, like, 3 days, and I have to, like, swing it to open doors and that sort of thing. So that's always been my experience of Grand Station. I thought it was a place for young children.
Yeah.
And then my wife wanted to go there. I'm like, whatever. I mean, like, we could go and hang out where, like, what else is there to do in this town? So we went there, and there's like, have you ever been somewhere for a long time and then noticed something about it that you should have noticed a long time ago? For instance, a lot of people are listening to this while driving in their car.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the experience of, like, you drive the same route to and from work or to and from the gym, and then for some reason, like my car was in the shop and then you're riding the passenger seat and you go on the same route, but you see everything because you're not focused on not dying while you're driving the car,
I think we drive very differently. I notice most things when I'm driving.
I don't know how I'm not dead. But like, I never noticed these things. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that house is purple. And my wife is like, yeah, we've lived here for 3 years.
Those are our neighbors.
Yeah, it's 4 doors down. I'm like, whatever, So that's how my experience of Grand Station was. I never noticed that there was like an adult section. Like there's a bar and darts and pool and shuffleboard. Like not the one that you like the tabletop.
Yeah, the table, the sand, and
yeah. Anyway, so we went there and we got to, like, there were TVs everywhere. It was like a kind of like a sports bar type thing hidden back where, like I never saw it before because I was always with the children, So we go back there. We have a lot of fun. She beats the you know what out of me at darts. Like I had no idea. My wife and I have been married for over 6 years. We've been together for 9. We have never played darts together. Like I don't know. Like who? Like when do you play darts? Wait. Is it play darts or is it darts?
I think it's
like
throw
bowling?
darts. You throw darts.
Darting.
I'm
a very darting young man.
One of those statements is true. Out of the darting young man, I'll let you choose which of those 3 things is true.
Darting. No follow-up questions, please. So we have a blast. She beats me at darts. We're watching the Astros in the playoffs. R.I.P.
Oh, so sad.
I know. I'm very sad. Anyway, the next day, so we have fun. The next day, I saw you on your birthday, like that same day. I saw you at work.
Yeah.
In a meeting. Which is like, happy birthday, AJ. And like nothing happened.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was nothing cool. And I even asked you, like, "Oh, you do anything special for your birthday?" And your response was,
No, I'm got work. I'm an adult. I work
"You're not
on
an
my
adult."
birthday.
Young, dashing man. One of those things is true about you.
Darting.
Darting. That wasn't even an option.
That's still my choice.
I identify as darting. So there was a surprise party. This is what I love about our community. And because we know our community, we often throw surprise parties for people, which I don't know how they're surprises anymore, because if we throw one for everyone, then it shouldn't be a surprise when you have one for you. But with you, knowing you've been a part of our community for what, year and a half now? Right?
Yeah, something like that.
And we know you, so we thought we'd do something a little different with your surprise party, which we did on Friday night.
Yeah, that was a very true statement. You did do something different.
So, pretty typical. We used somewhat against you. In this case, it was your Canadian girlfriend.
Yep.
We're still not sure if Canada exists, and I wasn't sure your girlfriend existed until this week when I actually met her in person.
Yeah, no.
So she took you out to dinner. We all gathered at your house. And we were going to do the traditional, surprise right when you walk in. We've all done that. It's boring. It's tired. I was very tired, by the way.
You had an event with your wife. You had the kids. You had found half of Grand Station that I had no idea existed.
It was an exploration.
Yes. I hear that's tiring.
Very tiring. Just call me those explorer names. I was going to say them and then I forgot them.
Insert one.
Joan Jett. That's not correct.
Columbus.
No, we can't talk about Columbus. It's very controversial. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, everyone.
Cortez.
Lewis and Clark. That's what I was looking for.
There we go.
I kept thinking Superman, because Lois Lane, and Clark Kent.
Oh.
Essentially, Superman and his girlfriend explored the Oregon Trail. That's how I remember it. So we're all sitting there, and we devised this plan to do the most AJ Barrows surprise party ever. We're all sitting there in the pitch dark. Pitch dark? Pitch black? Pitch dark.
Something.
The darting dark.
The darting dark.
And as you walk in, we all just sit there very quietly and stare at you. And we had all agreed not to say surprise. And then one person who will remain nameless, we'll call her Jalen because that is her name. So she goes, surprise! And we're all like, shut up, Jalen. That's not what you were supposed to do. So then we stare at you for another, 30 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
You awkwardly wave at me. I awkwardly wave back, but still don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then all in unison somehow, we're all like, surprise! And then we celebrate, okay? No one got you gifts because we're poor.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of being poor, two things. That day, the day of your surprise party,
yes,
was the $1 billion Mega Millions lottery draft.
Oh, yeah. Lottery draft.
Yes, they draft. You draft numbers and then you see if they win.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we all decided that evening to go buy lotto tickets because we're all broke missionaries and we all wanted to, we wanted
invest
to
our money wisely in lottery tickets.
So we all spent $4. Well, I spent $4.
Yeah, there.
We went to a gas station to get tickets for y'all. We found out that they announced the ticket winners at 10:15. They closed selling at 9:45. We walked in at 9:45 on the dot.
Yeah.
So you didn't get one, but I'm here to tell everyone, I won the lottery.
Yeah.
I did. I bought a lotto ticket and I got money back. I just, spent $2 and got $4. That's beside the point. I didn't get the $1 billion. So actually today, as we record, by the time people listen to this, by the time we're done recording, I've edited and I've posted the podcast, I might be a 1.6 billionaire. I bought not one, not two, but 3 tickets today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All because I want to be a billionaire for my birthday. My birthday is this Thursday, October 25th. Producer Sam's is also later this week.
Yes.
So we've often talked about me giving her a few dollars for producing the show. So if I became a multi-billionaire,
yeah,
or at least a one billionaire. I mean, that would
Just
suffice.
rational,
I'd give her a few dollars. I do it. So we got to talking about what we would do with $1 billion.
Yes.
Today is 1.6. So I'm gonna do my answer first because your answer makes me angry. My answer, if most of the people we had this conversation at your surprise birthday party.
We did.
And most people said, we'd pay off our loans, our debt. We'd pay off the loans and debt of like our close loved ones.
Yeah.
We are all missionaries, so we all said we'd donate to each other, right?
Yeah.
Except for me. I said, no, I'm going to give to all but one of you, and I'll let you decide who the one is.
Yeah.
It may or may not be someone whose last name rhymes with Barrows.
Jalen.
Her name does not rhyme with Barrows. I would probably get a nicer house. I would finally upgrade my wife's wedding ring. What would you and then I'd have $1.6 billion left.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even touch it. Like, I honestly have no idea what I would do with that amount of money. Like, think about the tithing. Typically tithing is 10%.
Yeah.
What is 10% of $1.6 billion? That's like, if I'm doing my math right, is it 160 million? Is that right?
Yeah, something that ballpark-ish.
Yeah, so let's just say that. I'll probably be corrected in the comments, but whatever. Like, that's how much money I would give to church and ministries. Like, I would feel like I'm awesome now. Like, I feel like money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys awesomeness for me. So what would you do with $1.6 billion?
What I would do with that much money, I would pay off my family's loans. I would probably buy my parents' house and like give it to them.
I'd buy. You have to leave now.
It's my house now. This is my house now. No, I wouldn't tell anyone. I would just continue to live the life that I live now. They asked me, what's the first thing I would buy? And my answer was 4 new tires for my car, because I am buying 4 new tires for my car.
See, there's the thing. I feel like, and we argued about this for quite some time. I feel like that is like the holy and correct answer. But I feel like if you actually won that money, you'd be like, never mind. I'm going to go buy a Bugatti. Which, by the way, I looked it up. If you won that much money, you could buy like 182 of the new Bugattis that cost way too much. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be talking to the author of Jesus Loves Movies. And later on, we're going to keep talking about what we do with our $1.6 billion. And also talk about me wrestling a baby elephant. It's going to be fun. Stay tuned. Those of you who have listened more than once, twice, 3 times, you know that this segment is our interview segment. So I have a guy with me today who is an author of a really interestingly titled book, really interesting idea for a book. His name is Phil, and I'm not even going to try his last name. Phil, how are you this evening, man?
Good. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Well, okay, what's the last name, man?
Yeah, sure. That's Strangolagalli.
I got in trouble in high school for doing that. Strangolagalli.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get like a lot of like Strangolagalli G? Like, is that something people have said to you before?
I get Stromboli, I get spaghetti, I get all of that.
That's awesome, man. Hey, it's we actually met on Instagram. So we started following each other, and you've got this great book, and you said, hey, I think you'd be interested in this. And I got very busy and I didn't look at it for a while. And then you very kindly reminded me, and I went and read it, and I was like, okay, this is fantastic. So I read, okay, before we get into it, I don't want to give it away. Why don't you just give like the why of the book? Why did you make this book?
Sure. So it was never planned. A lot of it came from my pain, probably during one of the worst seasons of my life. We had plans, me and my soon-to-be wife, we were going to, have this house, or, we just had plans, that we were going to live this certain way. And then all of a sudden, a lot of those plans were just ripped from me, just at a very short time frame. And, and then we entered marriage, and, I love being married. Marriage is like the best thing ever. But really, having those plans ripped from me is where this book came from. I started watching films, and I started noticing that, I really felt like these films were really speaking to me. And then I just started writing. In the beginning, it was just therapy, and it was therapy on what I've been through in the last season. And I just kept writing, and eventually it came down to this book. So.
Yeah, the book's called Jesus Loves Movies. It's coming out this week. And it's actually pretty interesting because I actually we hadn't talked much. I don't really like talking to my guests all that much before they come on, so that I can actually have, I'm learning things and I'm actually having a genuine conversation with you. And also, I have found that most of my guests don't want to talk to me after 18 minutes of being on the air with me. So I just don't want to risk it before we do that. But it seems to me like there was more planning to it, like it was more of a happy thing. So to hear that it was unplanned and coming from a tough place, actually, I think gives it a little bit more oomph. Because essentially what this is you go through all these movies that you watch during this time, and you write essentially devotionals about them, right? So most people that you hear, you say that you can read it as a book, you can read it as devotionals. Most time when I think devotionals, I think the Word of God, not Wreck-It Ralph. So I just find it fascinating. So how did you make that connection in your life for this book?
Right. So really what it was, in the beginning, it was therapy for me, and I just started writing, and, I really felt like there was something there, and there was something, that people could get from it. And man, if it just impacted, if it just impacts one person's life, then I've done my job. But really that's where it came from. And, it might look like, really fun, and it is, it's a fun, book. It's a fun title, but it really did. Yeah, it came from some deep pain, some deep trauma. But yeah, so
I want to give people kind of a snapshot of this, because I didn't completely understand it until I got the book in front of me, and I was like, I read the one about Toy Story. So this is
right.
the first movie that you tackle. Came out in 1995, which made me feel very old, by the way. Depending on the time of year it came out, I was either 5 or 6 years old. I feel very old right now.
Right.
But Toy Story. So just give our audience a glimpse in how you are approaching these movies as a devotional.
Yeah. So for Toy Story, what I really wanted to capture was just how Woody felt abandoned and, just almost rejected when Buzz came in the picture. And, how many times in life, we might feel like Woody. We might feel like, God is far off, or he's busy doing something else, like Andy was. Andy was spending a lot of time with Buzz, but the truth is, God's not like that at all, and he's always with us, and he sings, you got a friend in me, over us. So yeah, I wanted to make that connection.
It's just awesome because one of my favorite things is having this Christian worldview, being able to look at movies and be like, oh yeah, I can connect this, and for a talk or something for a youth group or for something on the air. And it's interesting because reading this one, it actually gave me, what you wrote gave me some insight and some thought of okay, why do I feel whenever Woody feels abandoned, why do I connect with that? Right. And I don't think I ever really realized that it's
right.
I am missing this connection either with somebody in my life or with God. Like you said, there are so many times where I've been, I've the whole, seek and you shall find, asking you shall receive. And it's just God, I've been seeking, right. I've been asking, I've been praying,
right.
and I don't feel anything. I don't hear anything. Right. So I feel like Woody right. in those moments, but you say, the scripture, the father sings over us. I always picture that being a hymn, not, right. You got a friend in me, but I like that image a lot. Yeah.
And I think, what this book captures, it just captures how God is personal, and he cares about what we care about. If he loves us, then, I do believe that, he loves movies because, if we care about movies in that way, or we care about specific things. He wants to meet us there, you know?
Yeah, and he gave us those desires. Like we all enjoy watching movies, so why wouldn't God be there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I made a connection earlier in our first segment about how talking about you coming onto the show and how Jesus loves movies. I love movies, therefore me and Jesus are similar. Like I am very Jesus-like. Do you think that logic stands?
All right. I'm trying to get a grip on that. So sounds like I'm in logic class in college. But yeah, I mean, I would generally say that, God just wants to meet us right where we are, and right where we are. And it doesn't even have to be movies, but it can be anything, that we have a desire for, a good, pure desire for. And yeah, he just wants to meet us there. So
after your career as an author, you should become a politician. That was just a beautiful way to dodge my question.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the next one. I have a question about this next one. Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't remember any scripture stories. I don't remember anything that ended in a dance battle. So how do you see God in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, this guy's funny, man. It's a pleasure being on your show, man. You're a really, really funny dude.
Well, thanks. I'm enjoying talking to you as well.
Yeah, so with Guardians, it was even before the movie released, when the trailer came out, nobody even knew about who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. They were just, and it's so funny how it relates with, the Guardians of the Galaxy in their own universe. They're a bunch of ragtag criminals and a bunch of nobodies, really. And they do something extraordinary. They do something great. And, I think, that relates so much to, the disciples we hear about,
right.
The prostitute, and it's very empowering to know that, anybody, is accepted. And so I would definitely go down that route for Guardians.
There you go. See, these are just fantastic connections. And I love making connections like these, and I love hearing connections like these, because like for both of these, for Toy Story and for Guardians, I hadn't thought of that. And it's just such a beautiful imagery that I may or may not steal for my next youth ministry talk. My producer's in youth ministry as well, and he's pointing at himself. He's taking notes for his next talk, which ironically enough, you're actually helping with your youth group right now.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so you brought food, and I think we can hear some of the kids in the background every now and then. So they're absolutely having fun. But one of the things that I find interesting, I want to keep on this conversation about having this Christian worldview, like how a lot of people, even Christians, look at movies as just like, oh, that's just another thing I do. Like I do my church thing, and then I do my movies thing, and then I do my work thing, and then I do my school thing, and it's just like, if we actually have this Christian worldview, which you obviously have and are sharing and are showing and are trying to help people mold through this book, what is the thing that helps you to make this connection? Like, as you watch movies, are you looking for the connection, or does it come across kind of naturally? Like, how does it happen for you?
Well, generally, I stated in my book, but I definitely analyze film so much. Like, ever since I was in high school, I would analyze film. And I love to pick apart film. And a lot of it comes from there. But it also comes from after watching a film, if it moved me in such a way, I go back to it, and I really start analyzing it some more, and that's kind of where it comes from. I do believe that movies are spiritual. I do believe that cinema, it's a spiritual place, and it's a place where you can meet God. I truly believe that. And I think it definitely goes kind of in a wrestling match, I guess, against the worldview where we can only see God in this specific area. Rather than seeing God in film, you know what I'm saying? Or seeing God in other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have shared before on the show about how I always kind of say provocatively that that a Muslim helped me to learn how to pray better. A Muslim on TV helped me to pray better. It made me a better Christian because I was watching Lost, and one of the characters on that show is Muslim, and I was binge watching Lost right after like finals week. So like I think I watched like probably 3 seasons in like 2.5 days or something like that.
So many people have done that.
Yeah. Exactly. Very, very proud of it. Right. Whoops.
Yeah.
But he's this guy who wasn't a holy version of a Muslim. And even when he's in a Muslim country and he heard the bells go off for prayer, he knelt down and he prayed. And I was like, wow, like I'm sitting here 2.5 days. Like I haven't prayed in 2.5 days because all I've done is eaten and watched Lost, So it's like, it was God speaking to me through a secular TV show with a Muslim guy saying like, hey, you need to pray. And then like, even this last week, I was watching Arrow, about the Green Arrow.
Right.
And there was this beautiful moment where these people get married. And I was like, I've been watching this show for like 2.5 hours. Like, I need to go speak with my bride. Like, I need to go. Because I felt this, and I didn't, it didn't come immediately. I was like, oh, like, this is so sweet. It's so sentimental. Like, it was actually like a kind of a tear-jerking moment. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, like, why is this actually touching me? Why is this hitting me? It's like, oh, like, I need to go spend time with my wife, So it's just cool to see these things in your book, and then you've put all these things through. So I want to go through let's see, maybe 1, maybe 2 more. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So you've got Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
So what's the connection for me here?
Right. Very, straight and simple. Luke deals with this scar, literally and figuratively. I mean, his dad, takes off his hand, and then figuratively, he deals with abandonment from, Darth Vader. So he's got these daddy issues. And, I truly believe that, no dad is perfect, and even if you tried, and you've made mistakes, and every dad has made a mistake along the way.
14 today.
But God's perfect, and he's a perfect dad. And, there's definitely something to be said about that, when God says that I am your father, so.
Taylor, I am your father. Yes!
But the thing is,
yeah, there's just the opposite reaction.
Yeah, exactly, right.
All right, now here's one that I could probably make that connection. I could probably make some of those. This one is a test for me. It's going to be a test for you. I just saw this in the list.
Okay.
Mean Girls. How do you connect Mean Girls to the faith?
Yeah. So, in the beginning, when I first came to Christ, I was definitely using this verse and misinterpreting this verse of when Jesus says to deny ourselves. And, I was literally taking that, and everything that Phil likes, I'm not going to do it. So, I didn't watch film, I didn't play video games, stuff like that. And I literally shut off fun in my life, and I put the fun in Christian fundamentalism, that was me. So the relation I make is, here's Katie Heron, she is from Africa. She's a genius. She's in math class and she likes this guy, Aaron Samuels, that sits right in front of her. And she becomes someone she's not in order to be accepted. And so many times, I feel like, I made the mistake of becoming, trying to become someone I wasn't, thinking that God would accept me or love me. And the truth is, we don't have to do that, and he loves us for who we are, and he loves us for the activities we like. And, so yeah, man, that's the connection I brought there.
There you go. You did it. You win the interview. That's how you win an interview. Is connect Mean Girls to the faith, and also proudly say on radio that you watched Mean Girls and enjoyed it. So,
oh sure.
Hey Phil, how can people get connected with you? How can they buy the book? It's coming out this week. Jesus Loves Movies.
Yes. So my website right now, if you do purchase it before the 26th, I am having signed copies on there. So on JesusLovesMovies.com. It's also on every other major distributor. So Amazon.com, Christian Bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. It's on all of those. So it's pretty easy to get access to. It's in print and it's in ebook version. So
That's great, man. I hope my people go and listen and read it and go buy it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. You're hilarious.
You're hilarious. All right. Thanks again, Phil. Guys, go get the book. Go check it out. I've had so much fun reading the few chapters that I have already. I'm going to continue reading it. It's great. Go pick yourself up one now, pre-order it, or you know what? Buy a few copies and give them away for Christmas. Guys, we'll be right back for our final segment of the day. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. This is still your host, Taylor Schroll. I do that for the radio people in case people are just tuning in, but if you're listening on podcast, you're like, yeah, Taylor, I'm pretty sure you weren't going to switch hosts between the second and third segment. Speaking of the second segment, it was great having Phil on. He talked about his book, Jesus Loves Movies, and Jesus loves movies. I love movies. Therefore, I am very much like Jesus today. What do you think about that comparison, Mr. AJ Barrows?
Pass.
Okay. You also passed on any good kind of answer to what you do with $1.6 billion in the first segment.
I'm satisfied with my answer.
You are. I am not.
It's my money. I could be satisfied with it however I would like to be satisfied with it.
I just think you're lying. I think there's no way you could hold it in and you would like buy a... I feel like you'd like... Here's what I think you would do with $1.6 billion.
Tell me.
I think you would set out. You'd find like Elon Musk or something. And you'd... I feel like those people are easier to find when you have $1.6 billion.
Probably.
I feel like you would buy... Like, have him create for you a real-life version of the Iron Giant? Would you like an Iron Giant?
No. What am I going to do with an Iron Giant?
Be protected from all evil? Fight a baby elephant? I don't know. Like, we're gonna.
I've never had an issue up to this point. I'm going to be fine.
Stop playing with your water bottle. I can hear it.
Oh.
So we can. Oh, interim substitute teacher AJ Barrows. Okay, so. We were talking about the money. We're going to get into this conversation that we have to. It's another conversation we had about the prospect of me fighting a baby elephant.
Yeah, no.
But we've got to finish up this whole money thing. So I was looking at all the things that you could buy with $1 billion. So what do you think, like, you gave, like, the holy answer, I'm better than everyone else. What do you think what do you think is, like, the expensive things that people would buy with $1 billion?
New house. I think people buy planes, investments.
No, that's just television preachers. Boom! Bazinga! Got him! Yay! Let's just make everyone angry. All right, so I found this list of what you could buy
With $1 billion.
with $1 billion, because essentially, like I have 3 tickets that I'm going to win with later, obviously.
Obviously.
If this thing would load, geez Louise, I had this pulled up earlier, and then I looked up that Happy Birthday song that we played in the first segment, and now it's not loading. So. I know that it was lots and lots of Bugattis. I'm not sure what a Bugatti is, but I'm sure she's wonderful. Like, I don't know what a Bugatti is.
It's a car. It's a nice sports car.
So I'm not even rich enough to know what a Bugatti is. Here we go. Here's a list. You could buy 2. This is ridiculous. This blows my mind. Because essentially the money gets like... You can get it like over the course of your lifetime.
Yeah.
Or you can get it all right now, but if you get it all right now, it's less money. So like the $1.6 billion, if I won today, I could get $956 million tomorrow. But after taxes, it'd be a little over $500 million. So they're saying essentially what you could buy tomorrow.
Yeah,
with these things, right?
$500 million.
$500 million. This blew me away. I could buy 2 houses in Los Angeles.
That's it?
Like, I'm sure I could buy more, but there are 2 houses that are worth almost over $500 million. 2.
Are those houses made of Bugattis?
I think they're Iron Giants. Like, I don't know what they actually are. It was just insane to me. You could buy 700 tickets to guess where?
Super Bowl.
No, that's a good guess though. Oh, sorry. And by 700, I pulled it up. I finally found the other thing. 3,438. You could bring them to space. you could buy tickets. 3,438 friends to space with either our friend Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos from the Amazon fame. You could buy 625 bottles of $1 million whiskey. First of all, why is there a whiskey that is $1 million a bottle?
Good on them.
It better be the fountain of youth. I don't know what's going on. This just gave me a sneak peek, a snippet into what it's like to be rich. Stay 9,169 nights in the country's most expensive hotel.
Where is the hotel?
The hotel is in Manhattan, New York.
Oh, okay.
It is $75,000 a night. Do you know how many people live in this country whose house costs $75,000 or less?
You can't tell, but I'm raising my hand right now. That's me.
Yes, this is welcome to radio.
Welcome to radio.
You could buy an island, which is that's another pretty popular one.
Which island are we talking? Like a tiny island? Are we talking?
This one's called Neckerer Island. Necker Island.
Could you rename it? That's not a strong name.
I know. I feel like the first thing I would name it Iron Giant Island. What else could you do? 118 Bugattis. Here's another one that blew me away. I could send 2,544 students to Harvard University for 4 years each. That's crazy. This is all coming to you from our friends over at CNBC.com. Thanks, CNBC. So this got me thinking. AJ Barrows, what makes you happy?
People, my family, food.
All people?
Hard question.
All food? All family?
I don't want very much. I just want to be around the people I like to be around. And
this is all an intervention for you.
Okay.
Like, Sam's actually not sick. We actually canceled this so that we could do an intervention on live on the air. You need bigger goals. You need bigger dreams.
No, I know happiness does not come from money or owning things.
Okay, so the real reason is this is an intervention for me, because everybody knows that everyone who comes on this show is holier than me. So
I could give you a run for your money.
I don't have any money. That's the point of this whole segment.
That's right. And you bought lottery tickets.
And also, I very much struggle to run because I've only done 3. I was supposed to give an update. I have done 3 of my CrossFit workouts. I have almost died 3 times in the last 2 weeks. 4, actually, if you count the elderly person who pulled out in front of me while I was going 40 on our local Texas Avenue here. And they pulled out in front of me out of McDonald's. I'm like, they're just blissfully hanging out with their fries, and I almost died. Yeah. So the 3 times at CrossFit and the 1 time that I drove past McDonald's, I actually didn't go. I was very proud of myself.
Good on you.
Good on you, mate. So I looked up scriptures. Did you know that I could do that?
I do now.
I actually have that ability. 3 scriptures about money. Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. Where your treasure is, there is where your heart will be. You've heard this, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think money is my treasure. I think my free time is my treasure. Like me watching Netflix, which I'm sad, by the way. They just canceled 2 of my favorite shows.
Which ones?
Luke Cage.
Oh, that is good.
And Iron Fist.
You can do better.
Iron Fist, Iron Giant. That's what everybody told my wife, by the way, when we were getting married. You could do better. People weren't following the conversation. They were like, they told her Iron Giant. But I think we all have, struggles with where we put where our treasure is. Like where we're spending our times, where our heart is, right?
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 5:10. Whoever loves money never has enough. That's what I got to thinking about whenever we were reading the CNBC article. Jeez Louise. It's like, oh yeah, I could have more. It's kind of like me with eating. It's like the more, like I can never have enough.
Oh yeah, no, that's relatable.
I'm very, very hungry all the time. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Keep your lives free from the love of money, and you will be content with what you have. Because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. So I thought this was a nice little segue back into me. It's my birthday week. So I just want to remind you, one, that if I win the lottery, I'm going to be very happy because it would be cool. I'm just going to leave that there. I also want to remind you that if you win, and you, AJ Barrows, all other listeners and their last names, if you win the lottery, I just want to remind you that it's my birthday this week.
It's my birthday this week.
I also want to remind you that we have a Patreon page where you can support Forte Catholic, patreon.com/Forte Catholic. I also want to remind you that myself, producer Sam, and AJ Barrows are all full-time missionaries.
Yep.
Which means that we gave up caring about money a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we all get our salary primarily from people partnering with us monthly to donate to us. And so if you win $1.6 billion tonight, God reminded you through me that you owe him 10%. And I don't know how you tithe, AJ, but I usually give 5% to the church and 5% to ministries or missionaries, right?
Yeah.
So that 5% of that 160 million that we decided earlier, just remember that your friendly missionary and podcast host, Taylor, would just do great things for the kingdom with that money.
So many Iron Giants.
So many Iron Giants. I would. We have ushers at church. I would make mini Iron Giants, and they would be the ushers. It's like, scoot in. That's what the Iron Giant sounds like, I guess now. Okay, we had another conversation that we have to get you. This is the grand finale of episode 106 of the Forte Catholic show. So we had a conversation. Your lovely girlfriend and I and you went to have a few drinks yesterday to celebrate your birthday, and it was just cool. I got to get to know her too, and I was just happy I didn't have to spend time alone with you. But she was sitting and she was wearing an elephant on her T-shirt. So I asked her why there was an elephant on her T-shirt, and she promptly said, because that's how they printed it. And I was like, you're very sassy. And I like you. And then I asked her, why she had... And long story short, don't ask me to recount the entire story because I have no idea how we got to this. But we got to this conversation where you and I were diabolically opposed on the outcome of this. I am 6'2".
Yes. 250
pounds. Someone tried to argue with me today, Annie Fulkerson, that I am not 6'2". I don't appreciate that. I am 6'2". You can see it on my driver's license, and also measure me the next time we see each other. Like, I don't care. Like, she wanted you to measure me today. I'm like, I know I'm 6'2". Like, I don't need to prove it to you, old lady. And then, also, I don't know if you know this, but we're on the radio. So measuring the host would take some time with both of us away from the microphones. And she was like, I believe in you. I'm like, I think you're just trying to sabotage my show so that yours looks better. So thanks for nothing, Annie Fulkerson, our friends over at the Salt and Light podcast. But I am 6'2", 250 pounds. Ironically enough, she didn't want to argue about my weight. She's like, yeah, that looks about right. A baby elephant, we looked this up.
Yes.
3 feet tall, 200 pounds. So I'm 3 feet and 2 inches taller than a baby elephant.
Yes.
And I outweigh it by 50 pounds. So we got, and I have to preface this, that one, PETA, leave me alone. If anyone from PETA listens to my show, leave me alone. I'm not actually going to fight an elephant.
Peter or PETA?
This is PETA.
PETA. Okay.
PETA. Peter Griffin, if you're listening to this, I'm not actually going to fight. I feel like he actually would. Anyway, you're getting me off my point.
Moving on.
We've got 3 minutes left to discuss this whole thing. So, and there's also a point to this. That's my preface, okay? I'm going to try to make the point in 3 minutes or less. You think that the elephant would beat me in a fight. I think that I would beat the baby elephant in a fight. I'm taller than it. I've got wider. Like if you just put the tail of the tape, like before they go into boxing matches, I see ways that I could win. I see ways that we could tie. I don't see any way I could lose.
Okay, the way I look at this is elephants are pachyderms, which basically means thick skin. And also, the bones of an elephant are so much stronger than you could do nothing to hurt this animal. And like, there's a dog half of your height. Everyone goes, "Wow, that's a big dog." Elephants are bigger than dogs. Like, there's nothing you can do to win this fight.
Elephants are bigger than dogs. Here's the deal.
You can't
I laugh
win.
because I was describing your argument to somebody else. They're like, they have thick skin and big bones.
What could you do to possibly beat this elephant?
I would tip it over and tie it up with rope.
Why did you get this rope?
I always have rope on me.
Shenanigans.
I have
right now. Prove it.
Okay, no, this is radio. I can't prove it to you. I have my headphones. They're kind of like rope.
Okay, good luck holding an elephant with
Here's
your
the deal.
headphones.
I don't think I would ever randomly fight a baby elephant. If I knew I was going to
at
be
the zoo.
I think I would take rope with me. And I just feel like I would just tip it over. Like, it's very nice. Also, I think, like, I don't know. There's no way that it doesn't have opposable thumbs. What is it going to do? Run after? Like, it's a baby. I just feel like I would win. So we put this to Twitter.
Yeah, and
We put this to Twitter, and 74% of people are absolutely insane. They think that I would lose in a fight to a baby elephant. Like, this is no applause. No applause. I think this is crazy. So let's see if I can do this in 60 seconds.
Okay.
Connection to the faith. Because fighting elephants is weird. And sometimes Catholicism is weird. I had a weird conversation, a weird talk that I gave to the young men at St. Joseph's Church this weekend. We were talking about being in battle and that people are at war. And we connected it to, like, essentially guys have been at war for as long as men have been around, right? But there's also been this spiritual battle going on for our entire, like, the entire lives of all humanity. And yet so often we don't know that we're in a battle. So we we connected it to the armor of God. So we're going to talk about that a little bit next week. We're going to talk about the armor of God, just because it's just fun to talk about the possibility of possibly fighting a baby elephant one day. It's like the Ministry Madness bracket. It's not a real fight. We're not actually going to fight, but it'll be fun. Hey guys, this is fun. We'll be back next week. See ya! Hello, friends. You made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations. Now, here's the real deal. If you listened all this way, it means that you liked it in some capacity. Here's what I need you to do. Take 30 seconds before you listen to the next episode. Search in your iTunes or wherever you are listening to this podcast. Search for Forte Catholic. Go give it a review. It'll take you 30 seconds and will help me out a lot. And it'll help you help others make Catholicism fun again, which is essentially like evangelizing. So you're off the hook for that today. If you give me a review, go do it. Otherwise, I will be sad. Oh, have a good week.